I refused to sell my house to a landlord, so I bought this place when I was 23 with my ex. It was a total disaster when we got it. The kitchen had cabinets hanging off the walls, the bathroom floor was rotted through in 2 spots, and there was this weird stain on the living room ceiling that nobody could explain. We got it cheap because nobody else wanted to deal with it. We broke up 4 years later, but stayed cool about it. He moved out and I bought him out of his half, but I told him when I eventually sold the place, I'd give him back the $6,000 he put down as a deposit. We grew up on the same street, so it wasn't weird staying friends. 8 years later, I'm still planning to keep that promise. Last month, I finally decided to sell. The house is fixed up now and I'm ready to move on. I listed it, and within 2 weeks I had 4 offers. 3 of them were from landlords. I could tell because they all had LLC names and their offers were cash, close in 10 days, no inspection. My ex texted me asking how the sale was going. I told him I had offers, but they were all from landlords, so I was waiting for a real buyer. He called me 30 seconds later, absolutely losing it. He wanted to know why I wasn't just taking the cash offer and getting it over with. I reminded him that we spent 8 months looking at houses before we found this one. Every single decent starter home in our price range got bought by some investor who turned it into a rental. We'd show up to viewings and there'd be 20 other couples there, all trying to get their first place, and then some guy in a polo shirt with a real estate company would swoop in with cash. This house was different. Nobody wanted it because it needed too much work. We got it because we were willing to put in the time. I spent weekends ripping out carpet, fixing drywall, learning how to tile from YouTube videos. My ex helped paint every single room. We made it into an actual home. He didn't care. He kept saying $5,000 is $5,000 and I was being stupid for not taking the landlord's offer. I told him no chance. He said I was holding his money hostage over some moral thing that didn't matter. I said it absolutely mattered because some young couple was going to lose out on a house they could afford if I sold to an investor who'd just jack up the rent. He called me selfish, said I was making his life harder for no reason. I reminded him how we almost gave up on buying anything because landlords kept outbidding us. He said that was years ago and I needed to get over it. I told him he'd get his $6,000 when I found a real buyer and hung up. 2 days later, I got an offer from a couple in their late 20s. They have a baby and they've been renting for 6 years. Their offer was $3,000 less than the landlord's, but I took it anyway. Inspection came back fine, they got approved for the loan, and we're closing in 3 weeks. I texted my ex to let him know he'd have his deposit back by mid-November. He didn't respond. His girlfriend sent me a message saying I was being ridiculous and that I cost him money by waiting. I didn't answer. The couple who bought it came by yesterday to measure for furniture. They were so excited. The wife was talking about painting the second bedroom yellow for the baby, and the husband was asking me about the furnace and when I last had it serviced. They reminded me of us 8 years ago, just happy to finally have something that was theirs. My ex can wait 3 more weeks for his $6,000. The couple who actually wants to live here shouldn't have to wait because some investor wants to turn it into profit.